During the year 1876, a girl by the name of Margaretha Hertrada Zella is born in Leeuwarden, the Netherlands, as the eldest daughter of a wealthy Dutch family. Despite being born with a silver spoon in her mouth, her fortune is short-lived. The family goes bankrupt, and to add insult to injury, Zella's father repeatedly cheats on his wife. The couple separates, leaving Zella to live with her mother until reaching the age of 14. Due to near-constant anxiety, her mother falls ill and dies. For the remainder of her upbringing, she moves in with her godfather, Mr. Visser, and pursues a career as a kindergarten teacher. Even this ambition is ruined, however, when the school's headmaster begins to flirt with her. Word of this affair gets out, infuriating her godfather, and she is banished. With nowhere else to turn, she flees to her uncle's home in Den Haag. At the age of 18, Zella decides to answer a marriage advertisement from Dutch Colonial Army Captain Rudolf MacLeod in the Dutch East Indies. On July 11, 1895, she marries into the MacLeod family, moving up to the Dutch upper class. Financially, this seems to be a wise move, stabilizing her prospects and allowing her to birth 2 children, Norman and Juana Luisa. That said, wealth signifies neither love nor happiness. Their marriage is a nightmare. Rudolf, in an alcoholic stupor, frequently beats Zella, taking advantage of being a staggering 20 years older than his bride. Unsurprisingly, he is an adulterer, openly keeping a concubine. Zella tries to escape this life, moving in with another Dutch officer for a time. During this, she studies Indonesian traditions and even joins a prominent dance company. For her performing debut, she goes by the stage name Matahari, which in the local Malay language means sun or eye of the day, as one who will shine light into the eye of her beholders. In desperation, and as the caretaker of their children, Rudolf urges Matahari to return to him, which she does with blind hope. Her hope is shattered when his behavior fails to change in the slightest, merely darkening the nightmare. Both children contract syphilis and find themselves violently ill as a result of their treatment. Rudolf blames Matahari for neglecting their son Norman, who ingested a bottle of prescription. He claims she may as well have poisoned the boy herself and violently smacks her. Matahari merely wishes for her children to come too, but is forced to suffer her husband's wretched abuse. She holds a murderous intent toward him, having killed him in her own mind countless times already. She reaches her point after Norman dies and moves back to the Netherlands in August of 1902. For the following 2 years, she struggles to make a living, barely scraping by on funds made from posting as a model for artists. Matahari doesn't find success until 1904, when she tries to make a career out of her dancing in Paris. Due to her Indonesian style and unique appearance, French patrons see her as exotic, oriental even, garnering enough interest for her to team up with Gabrielle Estruc as her booking agent. The way she promiscuously flirts and flaunts her body serves as a spectacle for viewers, making her a near-instant success after her official Paris debut. To bolster her fame, she is fictionally embellished as a Hindu princess who had been immersed in sacred Indian dances as a child. This puts her in favor with French nobility, feeding off of their millionaire assets as a prostitute. Sadly, this keeps her dependent upon them, with her own finances being paltry in comparison. This becomes apparent in 1906, when her divorce to Rudolf is finalized and she reclaims custody of Juana. Rudolf cruelly denies Matahari any child support, and a skewed legal struggle deems her unfit to provide for the child, not only for a lack of funding, but also for her risque occupation. Matahari is left to reason that, while Rudolf was a terrible husband, he was a decent father, and accepts the circumstances. In contrast, her career continues to grow, elevating exotic dance to a more reputable art form. She stands out from a more modest crowd, relying on her free-willed, cheerful attitude, maternal hospitality, and revealing clothing to win over Europeans who lack familiarity with the Dutch East Indies. One French journalist describes her as so feline, extremely feminine, majestically tragic, the 1,000 curves and movements of her body trembling in 1,000 rhythms. Coupling this with her nightly prostitution expands her clientele beyond rich nobles to encompass high-ranking military officials and politicians across various countries. With the advent of the First World War, Mata Hari's image as a popular artistic bohemian becomes a catalyst for her to transform into a dangerous seductress, as one of these military officials recruits her as a spy. This role suits her quite well, as it allows her to profit from the male abuse she suffered as a youth. Unfortunately, her activities in the underworld do nothing to satisfy her yearning for genuine love. Much like her previous marriage, for every time she embraces and kisses other men, she accrues luxurious treasures. They help her thrive, but fail to provide her any real substance. No commitment, no family, no happiness. Rather, each binge of lust takes her further from the wholesome household she internally covets. Despite serving as perhaps the most wondrous spy of her kind, Mata Hari's espionage, the information she pleasures out of men and leaks to others between both France and Germany, is not seen as entirely detrimental. When captured and found to be a double agent, however, France takes the opportunity to dump their failings onto her. She is brought before a firing squad and blamed as the cause for various unsuccessful French operations. Despite pleading her work as a spy has been in service of France, officials prefer to make her a political scapegoat. It has been said that, prior to execution, Mata Hari exclaims that no man can shoot me whilst naked, her beauty emphatic enough to drive men mad. To fend off this superstition, the firing squad blindfolds themselves before piercing her with a hail of bullets. She dies with the full extent of her crimes left to speculation. Her original name is forgotten, going down in history only as the exotic spy Mata Hari. To sate her regrets in life, she wishes for a beloved partner and a happy household, or perhaps eternal youth, but gives up on such desires in death. However, as if to grant them, Mata Hari is recorded into the throne of heroes, able to earn a second life as a heroic spirit. In the modern era, the Chaldea Security Organization strives to protect the human order by resolving various singularities emerging across time. Their master, Ritsuka Fujimaru, manages to summon Mata Hari for this endeavor. While this is a marvelous feat in itself, Mata Hari expresses that she lacks the capacity to fight. Despite being an assassin-class servant, she lacks the iconic presence concealment skill in favor of espionage. She admits her weakness in combat, but aims to excel at gathering information and intelligence. Her noble phantasm, Mata Hari, the girl who has sunny eyes, materializes her own legend. By performing a bewitching dance, she can brainwash and numb the thoughts of her victims, making them into her own puppets. While this sounds impressive, it is hindered by restrictions, such as being unable to charm servants with resistance or madness enhancement. Fortunately, Chaldea does indeed have situations that require someone with Mata Hari's expertise. During their investigation of Orleans, Ritsuka and Mashu recruit her to obtain information on King Charles from key figures in the city. Symbiotically, Mata Hari seduces her targets, while Ritsuka and Mashu provide combat support when tensions rise. Together, they are able to confront the king and even free him from demonic possession. While not on the front lines, she plays a valuable role in Chaldea's activities. Her most active role is part of an anomaly of Salem, Massachusetts, in the year 1692. In an attempt to make contact with a far-off celestial being, the demon god Raum steals the dormant body of Randolph Carter, a traveler of time and space, and situates himself nearest Abigail Williams, the girl most compatible with summoning such a creature. He aims to use the Salem witch trials to gather blood sacrifices and summon the creature into Abigail directly. Chaldea plans to venture into the anomaly, disguising themselves as a traveling troupe of performers. As such, Mata Hari is selected as an ideal candidate to bring along. However, Chaldea grossly underestimates the feverish puritanism of the colonists, and Ritsuka's troupe is met with harsh scrutiny. Naturally, an exposed, exotic beauty like Mata Hari is leered at by the villagers, deemed a harlot and a temptress. Despite this, she helps the troupe not only defend themselves, but also the village children when accused of inciting a wicked ritual in the forest. Carter, pretending to serve as Abigail's guardian, invites them into his home, where they slowly spectate as the town turns to malice, heavily ushered in by the cruelty of executioner Matthew Hopkins. The first victim to be accused of witchcraft is Carter's slave Tituba. Found to be involved with the children's forest ritual, she is condemned to death by hanging. It is not long after that Matahari herself is brought to trial for bewitching the weak-willed men of Salem. Throughout her farce of a trial, she recounts the guilts of her life, her dead children, her acts of espionage, and the many soldiers who likely died as a result of her leaked information. Deciding her life is a worthy sacrifice for Chaldea's success in protecting humanity, she pleads her guilt to the court. However, prior to her execution, she is presented with a secret plan by her new ally Circe. Following Circe's instructions, Matahari is able to fake her own death and actually survive the hanging. Acting out of a concealed safe house, she continues to assist Ritska in secrecy. Unfortunately, this involves playing along with the demon god's ritual, as if the singularity itself were a performance. In the end, at least, Chaldea is able to fight back, defeating both the demon god and exorcising a possessed Abigail. Indeed, despite her life's suffering, her many regrets, Matahari is able to atone for her failures, not through death or sacrifice, but by working with Chaldea to save humanity at large. Her alluring dances, her seductive glory, prove themselves to be valuable tools in the betterment of everyone's lives.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this channel, help me beat the algorithm by liking, commenting, and sharing the video, subscribing to OtakuDaiKun, and most of all, smashing that notification bell as if it were your waifu. That way you'll never miss out on all of my anime content, lore videos, live streams, and Holy Waifu Wars polls. My vids are struggling to get featured, so that bell is absolutely critical. If you want to support me directly, check out my Patreon, or consider donating via Super Chat. And as always, celebrate your fandom.